All right, guys, so in this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to set up your pixel so that it's optimized for finding more qualified buyers rather than just optimizing for people who book calls, because people who book aren't always people that buy. And this is the problem with optimizing for calls. When somebody books a call, it fires the schedule event, and then Meta, Google, they optimize to find more people like that. But unfortunately, there's a large group of those people who are either unqualified or end up no-showing or tire kickers or don't necessarily have the budget for your offer. And you do not want to be training your pixels on finding more people, more leads like this. What you want is to have your pixel optimized to find qualified buyers, people who have the budget, people who are highly likely to show up. And so you want to disqualify leads from being able to fire your pixel. You want your pixel to only fire on qualified buyers, and then your pixel is going to learn to find more of these qualified leads. This is going to, of course, help you increase your return on ad spend and lower your cost per acquisition. Okay, so very simple. iClosed integrates directly with Meta, with Google Tag Manager, and with ROAS, and this is why you have people saying things like they're capturing 2 times more leads and their ads are performing better than ever, or people who are seeing significant revenue growth without extra ad spend. Okay, so this is very simple. So let's just go ahead and set this up real quickly. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to go over to iClosed, you're going to click on integrations, and then we'll set up the Meta pixel first. So we already have our pixels added, but if you haven't yet added it, go ahead and click on integrate now. Paste in the pixel name, the pixel ID. If you use the Meta conversion API, paste in your API token. This, of course, is server to server tracking, so this is going to be more accurate. So I recommend using this. Go ahead and save changes, and now you can actually map the events. So first, you can select the calendar events that you want to track, and then you can set the triggers that you want to send back to Meta. So let's say I only want to track the qualified leads and calls booked. So qualified leads are those that started filling out the form, but they didn't end up booking, but they are qualified. So they answered all of the invitee questions. They passed the qualification sort of parameters, and they're a lead, but they didn't end up booking. So this is going to show up as a lead within your ads manager dashboard. Okay, so you can see how many leads are being generated, how many qualified leads that is. And then calls booked, of course, is the number of calls that were booked. But if you've set up your disqualification correctly, then you know that only people who are qualified are able to book. Okay, and this is the event that you want to make sure that your campaign is optimized for. Okay, so if you're using a call funnel strategy, of course you do not want to optimize your campaigns for leads. You want to optimize your campaigns for calls. Okay, more specifically, qualified calls booked, and that's how you do that. So you would just go ahead and click save. Now it's the same exact thing for Google Tag Manager. So you're obviously going to add your tag. Once you've done that, you can select the calendar events you want to track, and it's going to send all of the data back to Google Tag Manager, where you can then configure how your campaigns are being optimized if you use Google Tag Manager. And then same thing for ROAS. So if we open up ROAS, of course, you just need to connect, adding your API. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and select the calendar events that you want to track. And then here you can configure the data mapping. So for contacts that are created, you can select where you want those potential or qualified or disqualified leads mapped to. Same thing for calls booked. Same thing for discovery calls, strategy call sales, and strategy call outcomes no sales. Okay, and so this is even more powerful. This is, you know, pixel training sort of 2.0. This is going to help you not only optimize your ad campaigns for people who book, but if you use ROAS, this is going to allow you to optimize your campaigns for people that actually show up or people who end up closing, qualified bookings, right? So if you are sending all of this data back to ROAS, ROAS is going to help you train your pixel to not just find people who are likely to book, but finding people who are likely to close. Okay, so very simple. This will take you guys 2 minutes to set up, but this is going to have a dramatic effect on your ad performance. So I highly recommend you guys do so. If you don't use ROAS, at the bare minimum, set up either your Meta Pixel or your Google Tag Manager, and I promise you guys are going to see the difference. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.